What it do? It's your boy Savage, aka Savage Cisneros. You tuning into my channel. Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Let's get into the video. I'm switching it up just a tad bit because this is a different type of video. So let's get into it. The last couple months, I actually got this request to do a video on the Denver rap scene from multiple people. And just recently in my comment section, the homie Mile High Minute, he hit me with, do a video on the Denver rap scene and some of the history. And if you don't know who he is, go check out his channel, Mile High Minute. He got some good content over there. He's doing his thing for Colorado and the rap scene and the music out here. And he's shining the light on what's going on out here. He does interviews. And not just that, he does interviews with, the industry. He got some fools from Chicago on his YouTube page, and he's just representing all the way around. So he asked me, to do, the video. Other people has asked me. So let's get into it. So before I get started with the video, let me run this down to y'all. So from the earliest ages, bro, I've been around, music. Besides all the politicking and the gang talk and the prison talk, I grew up in a music-orientated family. A lot of people in my family, they do some music of some sort. I can remember earliest ages, man, pulling up to family functions and, older cousins would be in the lab, would be in the studio. Go check out what they're doing and they're writing songs. I remember, pretty much being in the car with these dudes and they will be writing in the car to a beat. And this is when CDs and tape players were still, around, and they would have a beat and they would just be writing songs, and then they would go to the studio and create a track. I remember being young and putting lyrics on, a beat and getting on a song with these dudes. So at an early age, I was actually around music. I got older and I actually started doing music myself because my family has that gift and that talent. And I can remember coming out with, I was younger and just being influenced by them, coming out with a group called Launching Gats. So my cousins are Rapo Trues, one of the legendary groups from, Denver, Colorado, Paper Route Records. And I can remember for the longest that being a big part of my life, being on the, the sales team and the promotional team and being out there selling, tapes and CDs out the trunk from Federal all the way to Springs to Greeley. I remember just that was a big part of my teenage years. But you can't mix gangbanging with business because it never goes together. And, gangbanging caught up to me. So it kind of put a hold on, the music aspect. And then a lot of my cousins from, that was around, they started catching cases and, put a big damper on the aspect of music. Rapo Trues, they were, they had a big buzz out in the Denver metro in every city. So, they got their foot in the door. And I could remember, being on Absolute Power tours with Tech Nine and performing in an in-state tour for the Absolute Power tour and being involved with that. And I can remember, we opened up for Lil Wayne at where the Blue Bear is downtown, where they have the opera place, and Amanda Perez and Sally Sal, Be Legit. Like being around these dudes and interacting with these dudes, it kind of gives you a light on what the music aspect is out here in Denver. And it was a big part for sure. Being asked a couple times, like, what do I think about the Denver scene and my top 5 rappers out here? And when people ask that, it's a different ball game now. There's so many different rappers out here in the Denver metro. When I was growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, there was only a handful of actually music groups. It wasn't the norm for everybody to do music. Now, it's the norm. There's 1,000 rappers out here in you know what I'm saying, in Denver, Colorado. And I'm gonna tell you like this: a big handful is they do not have talent. A big handful, I'm like, bro, you don't need to be rapping, but it's the thing to do nowadays. 2023, everybody wants to be a rapper. If I could give one aspect about the Denver rap scene, to some artists, like act accordingly to who you are. Stop trying to be other cities and states. I see all these fools out here in the Denver metro, and they have this personas of other states. They do not have an original sound because they're trying to be like everybody else, and they're trying to, put on an image like they're every other state. When you would look way harder if you represented your sector in the rightful manner with the utmost respect, and you put it down and you made your own sector, your own city and state look hard. Like, I see one thing I just cannot stand, and I know it's deep, and this is the aspect, is when you got artists from out here that the fashion, they're all about the fashion aspect. They'll wear one football team of an NFL team, and then the next day they'll wear another team. Just for fashion, because it matches the outfit, it matches the jersey. They'll wear, they'll have a Kansas City Chiefs hat on one day, and then the next day they'll have a Bronco hat on. The next day they'll have a Charger, and they'll have a Patriot, like, just to fit the fashion. Like, represent your city and state with the utmost respect, and you'll get respect if you keep it loyal to the soil and you keep it 100. Stop trying to be like everybody else. That's just my opinion. That's my biggest look upon, and just my opinion of you. So I'm gonna give you a group of a list of groups that that historically had a big influence out here, and opened doors for what it is now. Groups that basically actually put the footwork in to build what it is now. Like, because I feel like some of these groups that I'm about to mention, if it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be what it is now. Like, people tend to forget the OGs. People tend to forget where they come from, what it was to, put in that work and build and shine light on the Denver metro. Because if it wasn't for some of these groups that I'm about to mention, there would have never been light shined on the Denver metro. Some of these dudes networked with these dudes in their own states, their own cities and states. And people love to forget, but that's in society. People forget the hard sweat, blood, tears that it took to get there. Like, that's swept under the rug. People don't even acknowledge that. I won't forget ever. You know what I'm saying? Because I respect the process. So let's get to it, man. So I'm gonna give you some groups, man, that I respect to this day because of just what they did for the city. And that's what it is. So my first group that I want to bring up, and a lot of people may not have heard this group, but if you were in the history of, cruising out here, and you know what I'm saying, you like to, hit the boulevard, Federal Boulevard, bro. And, it was more for the Chicanos, to be truthful, but that was a boulevard that has so much history, so much memories was made up there. Federal Boulevard, fools will pull out their Lolos, their lowriders, their tight whips, summer nights out here in the Mile High City, and cruise the Federal Boulevard. That's where memories were made. I can remember earliest days hitting the Federal Boulevard sound CDs, and I had some of the greatest times under that Mile High air, summertime. You know what I'm saying? Trunk to trunk, bumper to bumper, fools with their nice systems, homie. We here in Federal Boulevard. We sold a lot of CDs over there when I was sound CDs. And the group I'm talking about is Pure Devotion. They had the classic song called When I Stroll Federal. And to this day, people that are from Denver natives that know that aspect, know that historical aspect, they will always sing that song. You know what I'm saying? That song is embedded in people's hearts because that boulevard was history in Denver. Now, I know it's different now. It's not like how it used to be, but all natives know what I'm talking about. So, Mile High salute to Pure Devotion. Another group out here that I have to give respect and recognize, it would have to be Cutting Crew. Cutting Crew, for the early 90s and early 2000s, everybody was talking about Cutting Crew on the west side, the north side. They were like one of them groups that, people talked about that knew the Denver rap scene. Like, and I know it was more for, Chicanos in this, but they had, people like Mr. Nose and them dudes. And, I have some people that didn't really dig them. But when you hear about the aspect of the Denver rap scene, they were one of the first groups also. They had the Midwest Flow, a couple of them fools, and they're legendary in the city. People still bring them up to this day. I would have to say Cutting Crew. Another artist that I could remember was Nike Loke, Nike Nitty. And he was, honestly, to be 100% in that era, he was the first artist that actually, it sounded great on a beat. It sounded great on a beat, you know what I'm saying? And he would make you want to get some money. I remember he came out with that album called Laundromat, I think, and it was a classic album. And the way I heard about Nike Nitty was a Rapo Truths, because he was featured on the Rapo Truths. He was one of the first artists that actually started traveling too, bringing other people into the city and states, bringing, doing these concerts and shining the light and, you know what I'm saying, networking. Nike Nitty, he was an artist. He paved the way. Another artist, these fools, I think they were from Montbello, M&LD, Interstate Ike and his peoples, man. They had some of the classiest flows, bro. Like, them fools are something that you could put in the CD player and you didn't have to actually second guess if it was going to be some quality material. But them are the dudes that had that sound that other people from other cities and states heard it and they were like, yeah, I would do a track with them fools. So they brought a lot of shine to the Denver Metro. Another group I would have to say, this is another group, man. Concrete Poetry, DJ Fame, bro. And if you know anything about the rappers out here, DJ Fame was a very, very pioneer in the music rap scene, bro. Like, he passed away, R.I.P. to him, bro. But he opened doors. He opened doors for, for my cousins, the Rapo Trues. And, they had a lot of love for him. But even outside of that, basically, bro, like, everybody talked about him in the music game. Everybody did, and he paved the way for that wave. Last but not least, and this, I know people are going to say I'm biased, but this is the truth. One of the most legendary groups, I don't care what you say, one of the most legendary groups, not just because they bring a new style and how they looked, not because, they was some Mexicanos, but just because the numbers off top. I know a lot of people won't give them their credit because, there's a stigma out there. If you're, Spanish or the Spanish descent, you shouldn't be braiding your hair. You shouldn't be talking like an East Sider, bro, where they're from. Arapaho Trues, one of the most legendary groups out here. And this is 100% facts. The reason why I say it, because they're one of the first groups to ever go to the Bay Area, live in the Bay, and their whole first album was with straight legends from the game, from E40 and the Click to Killer Taste, Spice One on that first album, bro. You know what I'm saying? They started doing stuff with Yuck Mouth and the whole Cali aspect, and they're from Denver, Colorado, and they put the light on Denver. They sold thousands to 100,000 units, and still to this day, people still asking about that first Arapaho Trues. Your mama, your daddy, mama, grandmas, uncles, all knew Arapaho Trues from every city to every city. One of the legendary groups out here, bro. And if it wasn't for them, a lot of the rappers wouldn't be doing what they are doing to this day. I see fools now braided down and different things. They're the first ones that came out with that style for the Mexicans. Fools braided down with the lokes and, you know what I'm saying, fish bones in the hair. Like, let's keep it a buck. So that's my list, man. Mall high salute to the riders. And another thing about Rapo Trues, they were so humble about it, They were your people's favorite artists out here. You know what it is. Let's go.